Hello, Insta World. Welcome back to another episode of Vegan Muscle Meal Prep. Oh gosh, I'm getting sillier and sillier. Anyway, I'm your lovely host. I say lovely because I don't have anyone else to introduce me in such a way. And you gotta big yourself up, right? I'm M&M, and today we will be making a hearty, tasty, grain-based dish with veggies, of course, incorporated. Who's the star of today's show? Well, it's none other than buckwheat. Now, buckwheat is kind of a master of disguise as far as the name goes. This is buckwheat. This is what it looks like. And it's not a wheat at all. It actually has no gluten. It's just a name. There's more I could probably tell you about it, but I mean, we really need to get started because it's kind of an involved recipe. So, let's get to it. Before I get on with the bulgur wheat, I want to, buckwheat, sorry. That's a whole nother episode. I want to make sure that I make a veggie stock. So these are all my ingredients that are going to go into my veggie broth. I said stock, broth. Similar, I suppose. Yeah. So I'll just list these ingredients when I, give credit to the cast of characters on today's episode. Now, as this was my very first time making my own veggie stock, I made sure I had everything lined out and washed and ready to go. So all that was left was a lot of cutting, chopping, peeling, pounding, and then dumping it into my water in my pot. I did have a battle with my pepper, but I won yet again. Stock. There's actually one more thing that I didn't add that I'm gonna add now. Some coriander, about, I don't know, a tablespoon or so. Am I measuring? No, I'm just shaking till it feels right. But yeah, a tablespoon's actually probably too much. A teaspoon. Yeah, 1 teaspoon. So just a couple of those in there. And then we let it all boil up, let the water get infused with the flavors, and then I can use this as part of my buckwheat. So the vegetable stock has been made, and I have a little bit of it in here. And the rest of it I've just put in a mason jar to save for future recipes. I'm just letting it come to room temperature before it goes in the fridge. All right, next up, our buckwheat, the star of our show. Where are you? Right there. All right, so measurement wise, I think I want to make sure I have enough for a couple of days meals. So a cup about. So once I measured out what ended up being 2 cups of buckwheat, I then added the Aquafaba, I mistakenly call it Aquafaba in the next clip, and lined my pan and placed my mixture. Spread it out, and then into the oven it went. The recipe that I've modeled this after called for the use of eggs, which I don't eat. So what I was using was Aquafaba, which is the liquid from garbanzo beans after they've been soaked. I had saved some from a previous recipe, so I used that instead, and I coated the buckwheat, spread it on a pan, and put it in the broiler. The recipe calls for you to fry it or put it in a stir fry for about 2 to 3 minutes. And I'm trying to reduce the amount of oil that I use in general, so I didn't want to do that. So usually when something is called to be fried, I either put it in the broiler or in the oven, depending on the consistency I want. So the broiler is set to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm gonna give it, I want to say 3 to 4 minutes, and then check and see what it's looking like. It's supposed to be separated from each other or something like that. We'll just have to see. And then the next steps. I'm like pulling myself together and composing myself and trying to figure out how to explain this. I can't have one day of cooking or baking that is uneventful. There's always something. Let me show what just happened to my stove. We just did that. What is that? I guess the insulation, the top piece came right off, fell off right onto my feet, so that was lovely. Good thing I already got my leg session. So this is the vegetable stock I had prepared earlier. I'm just going to bring it back up to a boil, and then I will add my buckwheat to it. This is what it looks like after about 5, maybe 6. We've got a boil. I added some sea salt to get it to a boil a little bit faster. We're now going to add the buckwheat. I'm going to just do it like a spoonful and see how that goes, because I don't need any more disasters. All right. Yeah, that works. All right. We'll let that come back up. Heard it stop boiling, and it looks like it's just about where I would want it. And we still have about 7 minutes on the clock, but I'm not gonna let it stay much longer. I'm gonna actually turn off the heat, and then I'm going to spread it out in this pan so that it can dry. There it is, all spread out. How long am I gonna give it to dry? I'm not sure. I just tasted it. It tastes delicious, so I kind of want to dig in immediately. I'm gonna give it the remaining time on the timer, and then I'm just gonna plate. So some of it got stuck to my pan, and when we're making rice, we Haitians, when you have this happen to your rice, it's actually, for some people, the best thing in the world, because you eat this and it's really crunchy, and I love crunch. It's called gratin. Some people, wasteful lot, get rid of this. This is the best part, man. You're doing yourself a disservice. I think not only Haitians actually do this, but that's my only point of reference, so yeah. This is good. I'm enjoying this. Hurry up, man. I'm talking to the rest of like, dry out already so I can have at it. Okay, let me compose myself. Pause. And then the next time you see me, it'll be plated. And that's it for this episode of Vegan Muscle Meal Prep. I've plated it as prettily as I could. I'm ready to dig in, but I'm gonna restrain myself for at least a few seconds more. Our star, Buckwheat, did not let down with the performance, and the supporting cast was also spot on. We had a few mishaps in the kitchen. What can I say? That seems to be kind of the theme of the show, right? Trying new things, experiencing new things, and not knowing how it's gonna turn out or what the kitchen is gonna do to you. So for next time, what do I have in mind? As we are all coming to know, I'm not exactly 100% sure. I have tons of ideas though, and we can always count on 3 things. That it will be mostly from scratch, that it will be muscle fueling, and of course, always, always, always going to be